Assalamu alaikum, inshallah you're well guys. Today I wanted to reflect and talk about things that I would have done differently in my career. Now I don't want to preach and make this a very long video, but inshallah I just want to cover off 3 things which I think will benefit most people. The first one is around making excuses to not go out of my comfort zone and take on additional tasks. And I do this even to this date. We often say that we don't have time to do things, but I think it's the exact opposite. We just choose not to make time. And inshallah when I was studying for the ACA, that was my main focus. I didn't have time to do anything else. It was just go to work, have a little bit of a social life and focus on the ACA. That's it. I wasn't focusing on religion. I wasn't bettering myself. I wasn't doing half the things that I do right now. And alhamdulillah, I look back on things and I think, you know what, recently I hit 3K subs, which is great, something I'm really happy with. But where would I be if I started my YouTube channel during my training days? I could have given a different perspective, making content from a trainee's perspective all those years ago. But I know that if I had the opportunity back then, I would have probably come up with the excuse, I don't have time. Equally, even now, as an example, when I travel for work, I have to get up early, which means I pray my morning prayer earlier. I'll be in a positive mood because I think I've already achieved stuff and inshallah go on to have a good day. But I can't keep it up consistently. When I'm not traveling for work, I may lie in a bit. I may use the excuse that, my body needs some rest. I need that extra hour of sleep. When actually deep down, I know that's not the case. So make sure you make better use of your time to achieve a lot more than what you're currently doing. The second thing I would have done differently is that I would have studied for another qualification after completing the ACA. Now, I don't need to do this right now, alhamdulillah, because even with just the ACA, you can progress quite far. But actually, you don't want to be in a position where you're going up against someone with extra qualifications, better experience than you, because then you may find yourself struggling. And I've realized now that because it's been years since I last studied, if I was to go ahead right now and study for a master's, a CFA qualification, CTA, AMCT, whatever I decide to do, I would struggle. I wouldn't be able to do so. It would take me much longer to grasp concepts and complete the exams than say if I had studied straight after the ACA. The main reason why that's the case is because I've lost that study routine. When you're studying for the ACA qualification or any other qualification for that matter, you build a routine, have an exam plan, have a plan to succeed in place. Inshallah, it's been years since I last had to do that. So right now I'd really struggle. And even if you have to pay for the qualification yourself, I'd still recommend doing so because it's an investment. If you've just completed the ACA, inshallah, you're due a big pay rise. So you'll be able to afford studying for another qualification. The only thing I'd say, guys, is make sure that before you commit to any studies, you have an opportunity to build up relevant work experience. So for example, I wouldn't study for the CTA qualification if I haven't got a placement in tax or an opportunity to build up my tax experience. Always remember, guys, you should never study a qualification just for the sake of it. You should have it clear in your head how that qualification is going to help you advance your career. So lesson number 2, guys, is once you've studied for the ACA or any other qualification, don't be content. Inshallah, move on. Study another relevant qualification because the market is only getting more competitive. So it's very important that you stand out. The final bit I want to talk about is quite relevant given the current circumstances. So energy prices have just gone up and alhamdulillah, we're expecting this to go up again in October. The price of an average shop has gone up at your local grocers. We all know about petrol. And recently, I was very surprised to read an article from Islamic Relief, which actually predicted that half of Muslim households in the UK live in poverty. The current circumstances really stress the importance of diversifying your income. Alhamdulillah, when I was a trainee, I was very happy with my salary, but I could have done so much more. I could have done tutoring, reviewing self-employed accounts for people, I helped out with budgeting. All of these things would have helped me earn a nice little side income whilst also having an impact on others. And the best time to start a side hustle is when you're a trainee or early on in your life, because when you grow older, you'll have more commitments. You may have fixed monthly outgoings. You may have rent to pay for, you may have a family to support, and then it becomes much more difficult to use some money to go ahead and start a side hustle. And guys, with that, remember, don't worry about what people will say or focus too much on comments which on the face of it seem really beneficial but could be detrimental to you in the long term. A good example of that is our families. They always have our best interests at heart, but unknowingly they may stop your development. They may stop you from growing a side hustle. questions or statements such as, why are you doing this? There's no need. Focus on your career. Spend more time with your family. Give your free time to us. They don't help the situation sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that advice, guys, because remember, it's good to spend time with your family. There's no point working every hour of the day and alienating yourself from your family. So it's good to do that. But always remember, I've never come across a self-made successful person who had it easy or didn't have to work difficult hours to generate their wealth. So before I go, guys, inshallah, I just want to quickly recap the 3 things I would have done differently. So firstly, make better use of my time and not make excuses to avoid certain tasks and responsibilities. Secondly, study for another qualification after the ACA or alongside the ACA. And thirdly, start my own side hustle. But inshallah, I'll leave it there, guys. As always, any questions or queries, please feel free to comment below or message me on Instagram.